Ah, good morning, Death. What a lovely day to be alive, wouldn't you say? Ready for another busy week in the afterlife? Oh my, busy may have been an understatement. Evidently, your sorrows have been working overtime. Oh my, really? Wow, that is truly unprofessional. Now, Death, we talked about this. Try not to lose your temper again. Maybe it's about time your subordinates showed you some respect. Well, you know what they say. If you want things done right, it's best to do them yourself.
Greetings, recruits, and welcome to our infrastructure development update preview live stream for Have a Nice Death. What a wonderful day. We have so much cool stuff to show you guys. And of course, tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, you will be able to play the infrastructure development update yourself in Have a Nice Death on Steam. What a great time. We have some cool guests here today with us, as you can see. We're going to be showing off some gameplay. We got a giveaway. We're going to be doing a little bit of Q&A, showing off some concept art, tons of fun stuff. So I know we want to jump right into it. So let's just do a round of introductions. Joining us today, we have very special guests from Magic Design Studios. We've got Meredith, the narrative designer and marketing coordinator. Hi, Meredith. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. And we have Simon, the lead game designer, finding time for us today. Everybody say hi. How's it going, Simon?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having.
Awesome. I'm pretty hype, and I am SoFetch community manager for Gearbox Publishing. We're the publishers on this fantastic title you're about to witness. So before we get into it, real quick, if you haven't already, just gotta plug this giveaway right here. The link for this should be in the title on Twitch. It should be in the description down on YouTube if you're seeing this after the fact, and it's also right there on the screen. This is your last chance to win this wonderful gaming laptop. It's got a 3000 series graphics card in it. You know, this is still pretty hard to find. So if you haven't yet, this will be your last day to enter. Go ahead, sign up, enter to win. This is from our good friends at HP Omen, hooking you guys up with a chance to win this. Cool. So without further ado, I think let's just kind of get into it. The infrastructure development update is releasing tomorrow. That's including tons of new stuff. We've got like patch notes that are just the biggest that we've ever done for this game. It's just massive. We have big additions like Jocelyn, who is a haunted elevator, and she gives you contracts at the beginning of your runs that give some cool stuff. We've got an expanded World 5. We've got new Thanagers, we have some new abilities, new spells, all sorts of cool stuff. Simon, Meredith, what do you have to say about the update that we're going to be seeing tomorrow?
Well, like you say, there's a lot of stuff that we added in the game, a lot of content, a lot of enemies, and really hope that you will enjoy these new Thanagers and enemies. So, yeah, can't wait to see your feedback.
Definitely. Well, so what we did over the last week was we polled you guys, the community. We wanted to know what questions you had for the dev team about the development of Have a Nice Death. So before we show any of the gameplay, we want to jump into the Q&A section and just answer some of those questions. So I have this up right here. Boom. All right, and shout outs to everybody that sent us questions. You know, we want to answer as many of them as we can. And, you know, thank you to Magic Design Studios for finding time today. They are releasing a major update tomorrow. So, you know, big ups to them for being here. Hope everybody appreciates this. And again, thank you all in the community for sending us these questions that they can answer today. So just to kind of start it off, from Rafflecopter on Discord, are there any plans to add more basic enemies to the game? I'll let either of you answer. Yeah, go ahead, Simon.
Okay, so of course you can expect a more basic enemy into the game. I mean, we are always eager to add new stuff to the game because we have amazing artists and we can't wait for you to maybe see the next one on the next patch.
Awesome.
Maybe do you want us to talk to you a bit about them?
Yeah, definitely. Now's the best time.
Okay, so currently we've added 3 new enemies. So we have the J Barron, which is, how do we say it in English, Meredith?
I think it's called Bomb Bear in
Bomb
English
Baron.
too. Yeah.
Okay.
It's in
Yeah,
you.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I know the French name, but I don't.
It's Bomb
have
Baron.
the-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. So
Perfect
we have the
translation.
Baron, that you probably have seen it on Twitter, which is a plain. How can I say this? Is a pilot. Is a pilot that controls a plane that appears in the last world of the war, and is quite tanky for a flying enemy. We then have the roster, which is a flame spewing monster that is really, really scary when in a big team, but by himself is quite defenseless. And finally, we have the Cataract, which is an enemy who has been very unlucky and has a missile stuck in his eye socket, and he will use this missile to shoot a homing missile at you.
Awesome. And I think the last one, the Cataract or Cataract. Yeah, it's a play on words. It's like a cadet and he has a cataract because he's got a missile in his eye. I think that name was actually chosen by our Discord community, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great because we give them the screenshot of the enemy and we let the community to decide the name of it. And we have a lot of ideas and great ideas, and but we have to choose one of them. And Cataract was the best, and also it was the best for localization as well. So it was perfect. So thanks again, community.
Yeah, I see Dark Mage in chat there saying that they named it. All right. Awesome. Yeah, shout out to all you guys. So
Hi.
if you haven't already, join our Discord. The link should be right down there. And, I'm there. Devs are there. We like chatting with you guys. Cool. So next question from the community. Will there ever be more to do in the break room besides obtaining food? I think this is another one for Simon.
Yeah, so we had a lot of initial plan for the break room because it was supposed to be a quiet place where you could do stuff, but we realized that player really likes this room, and what we wanted to do for the break room was very fast-tracked because the player really enjoyed and really wanted more stuff to do on this. So yeah, we've added new element in the break room in the new update. We've added 2 new, let's say, machine stuff. So first there's the Anima Bubbler, which is an Anima fountain with unlimited supply of animas that are very cheap, but the price tend to increase very quickly. So it's mainly as a response to the community that ask for more ways to heal themselves because they found sometimes very starved for healing and sometimes they had too much, and that way people that have too much money, because that can happen, can have ways to heal themselves even if they don't go to the shop or even if they're unlucky killing enemies and not getting any animals. Secondly, we've added the snack machine that is paid with animas. I know it's very weird, but it's a slot machine with animas. So you pay with 1 anima charge, a basic anima charge, and you get a random reward. It can be, for example, 2 anima charge, it can be money. Sometimes you can be very unlucky and trigger an explosion. So be careful on how you use it. And we really are very excited to show the community and to give them more opportunity for risk reward and more money management to challenge them.
Awesome. Yeah, it is something that the community has definitely been asking for a lot. And here you go. You got it. The devs are listening. And we actually have a question in chat about, can yellow anima come out of the bubbler too?
No, the yellow anima cannot come out of the bubbler. However, there's a tiny new feature. I don't know if maybe I should talk about it.
We can, yeah, definitely. We can share that.
Okay, so we've added a mechanic to try to reward players that are very greedy. because it's really try to get more and more risk reward. That we want the good player that are good to have ways to be better. And so with the greedy anima, what happens is when you have 2-3 anima that are blue, that are regular, and you get another one anima, the next one you get will be transformed into a yellow anima. So try to keep your anima for as long as possible so you can get upgraded anima.
Yeah. Awesome. Great answer, too. Thank you. Next one, and the first few, we have a lot to expand on, but we'll get to the gameplay in a very short while, so don't worry about that, folks. Next question, are there going to be ports to other platforms? And this is a question we get asked all the time.
Yeah, all the time. So for now, the game is on PC. So we're very focusing on this PC version because it's early access. But of course, we want the game to be on console. So we will give you some more news on the coming months. But yeah, it will be on console, we hope.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. First PC, the games are generally developed on a computer anyway, so it's a lot easier to put it on PC for now, especially while we're in early access. Next one is, what are the games that inspired Have a Nice Death?
Simon?
There's a lot of games that have inspired Have a Nice Death. I mean, I'm a player of most of the game. I love Dark Souls and everything, so there's always a bit of them into Have a Nice Death. But the main ones that inspired us were Dead Cells, because it's a 2D platformy Metroidvania rogue-lite, and so it really not made us more risky of doing this kind of genre that we weren't very experienced on it. Of course, we've been also very inspired by games like Devil May Cry, a very fast action game where you dash around and you try to kill every enemy inside very quickly and very flashy. And there were more games a bit more Japanese oriented, for example, Odin Sphere or Muramasa, which had a very charming world, but yet a very finely tuned gameplay. And I think that was the three main inspiration, at least on the gameplay design-wise for me.
Yeah, about narrative design, of course, we was inspired by Dead Cell and Hades as well, and also some point and click like Monkey Island, Sam & Max, Grim Fandango, and also the game Deltarune. So yeah, there's still a lot of games that I forgot, certainly, but
Yeah.
it's the main game.
Awesome. Yeah, you definitely see a little bit of those elements from each of the games that kind of inspired Have a Nice Death, but then the game itself is just its own special, unique thing that's maybe a culmination of some of those other games, but then also your touch on the game and the game industry, like your take on that kind of genre.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
Awesome.
maybe one day people will say Have a Nice Day-like game. It could be great.
Yeah. Next one is in the similar vein, did the concept come first or the design/gameplay?
Simon can go ahead with the game designer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can go ahead. Well, I think we can say it's the concept that came first, but the concept was already very gameplay important, because Nico decided that he wanted to do death, that was tired of working, and he had to beat up his sorrows, and right into the, let's say, story, the initial story, you could see already the gameplay that was there, that it was supposed to be action focused, that it was supposed to be fast, quick, simple. So yeah, I think the concept was there first, and then we adapted all of this to the formula of roguelike and tried to have some kind of story with very deep lore and everything.
Awesome. So it's like it's like a translation of someone's real life experience into the game world. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Actually, we make kind of a deal between different jobs like game designer, artist, narrative design, and devs. We deal together to make it work well and be perfect.
Awesome.
It's a deal.
Yeah. Next one is, can you share some insight about how the game was developed and what coding language is behind hand? So we shared a little bit about the insight about how it was developed but what program is the game developed inside of, and maybe a little bit more insight into the hardcore development of the game, like the nitty-gritty kind of inside baseball stuff.
Sure. Well, Have a Nice Death is a game developed on the Unity game engine. So it's free software that any people can use. Of course, more experienced people can use it a bit better. But yeah, it's a free software that use two languages, JavaScript and C#. And we use C# because we prefer it. We have more experience on it. And so it's use that for the gameplay element, but of course there are more in-depth stuff like tool management that is not done in C#, like for example having a build of the game, but yeah, it's mostly use C# for the gameplay element. And regarding the insight about how the game was developed, so we first started with the idea of the game, and we decided to do a first version prototype for 1 month. We were just 3 of us on it. It was Nico, the creative director and lead animator. There was Alexandre, who was the lead gameplay programmer, and there was me. And we worked on the game for 1 month to see if there was something with this concept that could be fun, that could be interesting to make a full game out of it. And the first version was, of course, very successful. People in our team really liked it. And so we started very slowly to gather the team and to expand on it, to really focus on the pillar of a game. So we chose that we wanted to make a roguelike, we wanted to be combat-based, and we wanted a lot of progression and evolution on the character. We didn't want something very static, and we wanted a lot of, like things like Binding of Isaac, where sometimes you can't see the screen, there are way too many projectiles, but it's fun to watch. And yeah, so that's how it went. And of course, I could tell you about all of it, about the alpha, about the beta, about how you get a release build, but I think we would be there for hours, so maybe let's stop right there.
All right. Awesome. I think that encompasses the core of the question, too. Well, my lighting is haunted. All right. Well, next one. Will you share some concept art? And yes, actually, we have some concept art to share. So let's switch over to that. We're going to get to some gameplay pretty soon. We're just going to answer a few more questions, show off some cool concept art. So I think, Simon, Meredith, you guys can see this, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is the world concept art from World 3, the disease department. It's Christophe who made this concept art, if I'm not making some mistake. So the idea was to create some, like a cancers, I don't know how to say in English, stuff. Yes. Something kind of dirty as well. Yeah. I think it's the very first concept of this world.
Yeah.
And you can see in each concept art still the character, Death, so we can have the size of the elements of the concept.
Yeah, even early on, little Death chilling out there in the environments.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. This one's pretty easy to tell which world this is from.
I don't see. Oh, yeah. Candyland. No. So, yeah, it's our World 5. Like you say, it's a department of modern warfare. So we were inspired by the first World 1. And, very a paradise.
Yes.
As well, I think it's Christophe who made this concept art. Christophe is a really great artist.
Yeah. It looks like a composition, but if you look really close to it, you can see there's like brushstrokes and things in there. So I guess, is this all hand done, these concept arts?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, incredibly
so.
detailed.
That's in Magic Design Studio. We love details, so there is a lot of detail everywhere.
Yeah, it shows in the concept art. It definitely shows in your work in the game. All right, next one. You might see some familiar faces. Well, maybe not so much faces. They're kind of looking away, but you'll see some familiar looking characters in this one.
Yeah, this is an old one. So I think that the first character is Patrick with his cup of coffee, and we get some on the left some lost souls and some blob. And yeah, the Emperor of the Century is actually Gordon Grimes, the boss of World 2. Well, yeah, he's very productive.
Yes. As we've seen in game, all the sorrows are incredibly productive.
Yeah,
Next one,
too
this
much.
is the bureau, and you can see all the tons of paperwork and just a dreary office environment here. What do we have about
Yeah,
this one?
we wanted something that looks like a kind of contemporary corporation with elements that you know in our world, like a desk, a computer, something like that, but in a kind of most gothic way. And I don't know if you see there is some pipes that go through the concept art, and in those pipes there is the solari who are distributed to all the employee. Yeah, there's a lot of pipes, of course, and yeah, I really love this place. I don't know if I want to work in here, but I love this place.
Yeah, fun to visit. Maybe not so much to stay forever. All right, next one. I love this. I'm so happy that we were able to show this one, little Patrick, and he's giving a guided tour to
Oh yeah,
all of these spirits.
Patrick, I love him. So yeah, Patrick is a receptionist that you can see at the start of the World One, but he's not also the receptionist. He offers some guided tour to the new soul and show a little bit of what is Death Incorporated, sorry. And because you know this soul will spend a lot of time waiting for their files to be validated, so why not give them some tour? As you can say, Patrick really love to do that. He's really enjoyable.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Character.
He looks like a great tour guide. He seems
Yeah.
so happy to be working there.
Yeah.
Next one, another familiar character from a slightly different angle. I remember seeing something that looked more similar to this in earlier builds too. So what can you tell us about this one, Meredith?
Oh yeah, this is a very old one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. So this is Jacob. This is the employee on the forge. So he's a very old friend of Death. So the friend that create his weapons since the beginning of the time. So in this concept, we may think that he's a big boss or an evil character, but actually Jacob has a good heart and will always help Death because he's his friend. So yeah, it's not a boss, it's just a nice Jacob.
That's wonderful. And the next one, so we've got 3 here that I think are about the level design. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Because people were what can I say? Expecting us to show them how we try to make our levels. So that's our whole process, how we do it. So how we create a level is we first try to have a theme. So for example, this world was the first World One and was about being the office. So the office has some element to it, like you have desk and you're supposed to move on it, but it's not very open and you don't have, for example, staircase leading to nowhere. So we couldn't place, like platform everywhere. And so that's how we decided to create this office. About you can see the room arrangement on the bottom right, where you have one room, a tiny room below, some room linking to it, and then you fall down and you go deeper into the office for the exit. So
yeah.
that's one for the World 1.
And then here's World 3, it
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah, World 3 was very more, I'd say, easy to try to find a team, because when you think about cancer, when you think about disease, you think about something very organic. And when you, as a level designer, when you try to see what makes a level organic, it means that it's something very fluid, that it's something maybe you do not get necessarily lost, but it's not something very, linear. And so that's how we got the idea to make a bit circular world, but that still had some way to find it. And you can see that the shape resemble a bit about a mitochondria or maybe a virus or something like that.
Yeah, it feels like you're navigating through an intestinal tract sometimes, or like a stomach. And yeah, you can see it right here. And that definitely fits with the theme too. And the next one here, let me zoom in on that. There you go.
Yeah, it's a bit tiny. So it was about the World 5, about the world of the war. And when we thought about war, there were several themes. So we could do, for example, an old-time war, like for example Roman or medieval war, or we could do something more recent, like the First World War. each had, for example, defender inside our team, and we decided to go for the First World War because there was some theme in it about the trenches and about going inside the level, about changing from outside where it's a bit desertic and inside where you have all of this complex cave system where people are defending it from the invader. And that's how we came with the idea of the World 5 that hopefully many people will be able to play very soon.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and everybody will be able to experience the revamped World 5 tomorrow. So here we've got a few more pieces of concept art to show. This one looks like a Death's desk from a front perspective.
Yeah, I think it's the second concept art because at first Death Lobby was more old and more gothic, and we definitely want something that show that Death Incorporated could be a modern company, try to be like a little bit like, I don't know, Google, stuff like that. And Christoph had this big marble wall beside the big desk, and yeah, Nico wanted to have a very big chair in contrast to the little character of Death. So you can see that everybody is very busy with all the files everywhere. I really like this one.
Yeah, me too. I like the screens in the background too. Look at those stonks. They're off the charts.
Yeah, sucks. Death, more Death again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the neon, the light. It's bones.
Oh yeah.
Very detailed, I know.
Wow, that's so fascinating. All the little details are just incredible. Yeah, look at those bone lights up there. All right, next one. This looks like Slima's arena.
Yes. Yeah, Slima. Oh, well, you know, pollution and radioactivity, mutant red barrel. So, yeah, I think it's the concept talk by itself. It's not a very enjoyable place. Very toxic.
Yeah, but
As
there's
well
a bit
as
of
a lot
there's a bit of a
What?
funny story about this concept because since Slima design was based to be able to walk on wall, I had to ask the art team to try to find a way for it to be something that Slima could walk on. That's why he added all of this fence behind so that Slima could walk on it without making seem like he floats in the air.
Ah, yeah, integrating the environment design into the mechanics of the fight. That's so cool.
Exactly.
It reminds me, you know, the Vega stage in Street Fighters.
Yeah, yeah, Vega. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the last one we have to show for today. This looks like Candace's arena.
Yeah, the Candice Zuccheri arena. So yeah, looks like really great because it's full of candy and sweet things. But you know that if you eat too much sugar, it will be bad for you and deadly bad for you. So I like this word. I think that Christoph really enjoyed to do that, and also love the tanager of this place. It's perfect place for Candice.
Oh yeah, certainly a fan
yeah.
favorite.
Too much detail.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you so much for sharing about all these concept arts. We want to be able to do this on a regular basis too. So, you know, in the future, we'll be polling you guys, the community, to see what else you want to see. Maybe some specific concept art of certain worlds or certain characters. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. So definitely follow our social channels at Join Death Inc. on Twitter, Facebook, you know, here on Twitch, on YouTube, and especially on our Discord. So we've got a few more questions to cover, and then we're going to hop into some gameplay, and then back to some more Q&A, and then back to some more gameplay. So we'll get to the gameplay stuff here in just a moment. We just want to cover a few more of the community questions so that it gives a little bit of a context to what we're going to be showing. So actually, here's one from Vile, a prominent member of our Discord community. What was your main influence behind Max?
Oh la la. So Max is one. I think that Max is one of the favorite boss of people, and there's a lot of fan art about Max. So it's very great to see. In a narrative design point of view, so Max represent addictions like drugs, for example. So addictions could make you happy, could make you feel good, but you know that deep inside it will be the total opposite of that. And so we wanted a character very disturbing, creepy, and also but showing this big happiness. So there is a smile and the disturbing. Well, I thought about a clown. I hate clown. So I was inspired a little bit by the Joker in Batman, of course. And but we always want Max to be definitely like not the other Sorrow, because we want him to make him mentally confused and insane and saying things which make no sense without warming, like a Spenton in Deltarune, for example. So first we made him speak like Gollum, saying from Lord of the Ring,
yeah.
like saying Max blah 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 blah, Max blah blah blah. But it didn't fit very well. It wasn't fun. It was kind of boring, and we thought it will be difficult to create more dialogue with that. So Hugh, who is my co-narrative designer, got the idea to keep the weird nonsense dialogues, but modifying the style of the text. So you can see that the dialogue, the letters are more space and underscore between them. So you can see that he's definitely not like the other one. And about art, Nico was inspired by a short movie called In Shadow, A Modern Odyssey. I don't know if you know that, but it's a dark and satirical portrait of the modern society. And it was about the idea of everybody has a mask, a smiling face, but behind these masks, it's hiding our psychological disorders. So that's why Nico wanted to have a mask on his face, which was great because I wanted a creepy guy with a big smile. And also about the animation, at the introduction cinematic, you can see that Max is sitting on a chair and his clothes are changing in each frame. So it was inspired by a short clip called, wait for it, Argesticalismus. It's about mobility and movement of bodies, and you can see some characters changing in each frame their bodies and their clothes. So Nico was inspired by that as well.
Oh
So
wow,
yeah,
that's
we're
incredible.
very excited by the. I think it's my favorite boss for me. So yeah, and about gameplay, I'll let Simon to
Yeah.
say what he thought about it.
Okay, so when I saw the concept for Max, I already knew that I didn't want to make another same boss with a very easy pattern to see and very action pace, because I wanted to break the cycle of this boss, and so I wanted to do something different. And I thought about trying to make something a bit like a rhythm game. I don't know if any of you have ever played DTR or, for example, Parappa the Rapper. And so I tried to incorporate that a bit into the boss fight, where you both have to be sometimes waiting, sometimes immobile, and sometimes you have to move, forced to move. And that's why I think Max sometimes has patterns that doesn't make very sense into an action game. For example, he has a very long attack with a lot of projectile that come from the sky, where you just have to move left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And that's why I think it works very differently from other bosses, and it is a bit more memorable than others. It doesn't mean that he's the strongest or he's, for example, the weakest, but at least it's different, and that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, he's certainly a standout. I mean, all the characters have such incredible personalities, but Max, I think, has grown to become a fan favorite just because he's so wacky and out there. Yeah, he is very different. Well, cool. Great answers. Thank you. Next one is, when will we see the lore go more in depth, and how much lore is there? So I think we actually have a little bit of additional lore added to the game in the update that is coming tomorrow, infrastructure development. The employee handbook is being expanded with some extra stuff. But yeah, Meredith, when can we see a little bit more lore in the game?
So yeah, for the next update, we add some more random dialogue and more description in the worker guide / codex. But for the game, yeah, there will be more lore. And for now, you get tutorial dialogues, random dialogue, and specific dialogues. If you game over or if there's a victory, it depends in who you're speaking to, NPC or boss. But we don't want to stop just to that. Since the beginning, we didn't want to do something as deep as Hades. It's a great game, but we don't want to do that. But we definitely want to surprise the player. And we also want to reward the players that are interested about the lore, the character backstory, the main story, answers questions about why sorrows are making all this chaos, what the will death be on vacation. So we in narrative design we got a lot of ideas, and we just need more reflection on how we can integrate all of that in the actual system in a way that it won't unbalance the gameplay, and we need more time as well to do that.
Of
But
course.
yeah,
And
but
yeah,
it's very funny to see that other theories in the Discord. I really enjoyed to see that.
yeah, the fan theories are so fun. But I mean, the game has really only been out for what, 6 or 7 weeks now, and we plan to be in early access developing the game, adding more content for approximately a year. So we've still got plenty of time to add more lore, more content, more characters, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Next question, and I think we've only got 1 or 2 more before we hop into some gameplay. So this one is, what's the hardest part of animating? And which character is the hardest to draw / animate? I don't think we have an animator on today, but maybe
No,
either
but
of you
I,
would be able to
I
help a little.
can speak. Yeah, I can speak for Nico, who is so a creative director and also a great animator. So to drive a movement, you need to have a good vision about space and timing. So you get a model, a character designed to respect, and you need to give it to a consistent arc of motions and volume, all sequenced with rhythm, slow down, speed up, and you need to add all of this a sense of deformation, exaggeration of the body or facial expression. So the basic animation exercise consists by making a movement in a cycle. It's the best way to test the precision of your animation. So animation is a lesson of mathematics, physics, anatomy, rhythm, artistic sensibility, and most of that observation. And so for Nico, is not the most difficult part is to be extremely rigorous. So to sum up, the hardest thing is to reproduce a fluid rhythmic movement and respecting impeccably the trait of the character design. So Nico didn't have some particular difficult character to animate it because he's a master of animation, but it's not difficult, but he's especially long to clean. For example, Mr. Gordon Grimes have some drips, oil, fluid, and you have to animate that for each action and make them cycles, of course. Mr. Hector Crank has this big transformation animation coming from Akira. I think you know this anime.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
anime.
very challenging. Yeah, it's very long to do. And for Max, again, it's very long to do as well because each frame requires a new design. So it's not very hard for Nico, but it's especially very long. And about, you asked about favorite character? No?
Oh,
I
I
don't
think that's the
remember.
next question. But
Oh,
just to kind of end cap animating on top of all that stuff that Meredith explained, then you have to time it with attacks too, and you have to fit it into a video game. Right? So then you have to add hitboxes and hurt boxes around all that stuff. So yeah, incredibly challenging, time consuming, especially since everything is hand drawn in Have a Nice Death too. So yeah, what a wonderful amount of work goes into that. And so the last question we'll ask before hopping into our first gameplay section is, what is everyone's favorite character? So Meredith, we'll lead with you. Who's your favorite character?
I can. As the narrative designer, we imagine the background story of each character, what they like, what they dislike, how they speak, the relationship between us. So I would say that I love all of them, but my top 3 will be Patrick, Pumpkin, and Jerry. That's one.
Excellent.
And I ask also to our team, and the top 3 are Penguin Patrick, same.
Yeah.
Mr. Osha and Harriet in second place, and the third place Jerry.
Awesome. And how about you, Simon?
And
Oh, Meredith, you have a
no, I wanted
Just-
to ask you to Simon as well.
okay.
Okay. I think for me it's Pumpkin, but it's mostly because it's a character that was created very early into development, and although Pumpkin was always the intern, we can say that there's been some evolution about the character itself. I remember the first time we looked at it and we thought Is it supposed to be a very cutesy one? Is it supposed to be a very, a sucker?
Annoying.
Not a sucker. Yeah, an all-knowing stuff. And so yeah, I think it was very, very fun to see this character evolve through the development as we as a team did.
Awesome. And for me, it's
Yeah,
it's
I want to ask
probably thanks. It's probably Death. I think I feel for his frustration and his anger. You know, that really resonates with me. And then also maybe Joe, because he's just like tweaked out. You know, I drink a lot of coffee and tea trying to keep myself alive. So yeah, I think both of those characters really speak to me.
That's great.
So all right, that concludes the first section of our Q&A. We're going to do some more Q&A later. We have more questions. You know, I pulled like 20 of them from the community. But now, the moment everyone has been waiting for, let's transition over here to the gameplay. Boom. So this is from a dev build. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner there, it says development build. So the build that I'm playing on right now is kind of old. So there is definitely going to be issues and things that will happen. So, you know, thanks for working with us on those. This build is like a week and a half or 2 weeks. And, you know, the devs here at Magic Design have already pushed like 5 or 6 new ones. So we just have one that I can show stuff off with. And I'm going to be cheating my way through this. I'm going to try to hide as much of the wires as I possibly can. But, you know, thanks for understanding, folks. This build, well, not this build, but the infrastructure development update will be available for you tomorrow at around 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. You'll be able to experience all the cool stuff we've got. We should be releasing the patch notes about that time too. The patch notes are huge, so there's a lot to kind of digest and cover. But the first thing we want to show today is Jocelyn. So this is a new mechanic in the game that after your first run, every time you go to this elevator, this haunted creature comes and talks to you. So Simon or Meredith, do you want to go ahead and explain what Jocelyn's about as I kind of go through the interface here?
Well, she doesn't like to. She doesn't look very happy to see, but actually no, she's very nice, and she's the sense. She's the elevator. She controls all the elevator of the world, and she like gossip because you know she's an elevator, and
Yeah.
she heard everything of the employee are talking to. So she will help this to give it some contract because contracts are the rule of the company. So yeah. Welcome,
Okay.
Jocelyn.
Yeah. And so regarding gameplay, we wanted to make Jocelyn because we wanted to give player a bit more agency and try to make the beginning of the run feel a bit more different. Because we quickly realized that when you get a lot of very weird curse, you have a lot of combination, but the beginning of the game often feels a bit the same. So Jocelyn is our solution to that. When you're gonna talk to her, she's gonna offer you several contracts, each with a scaling difficulty or penalty. So for example, here the first one is just you get a random weapon, which is great, and so it can be anything. The second one makes you take a bit of damage and asks you to do something. So for example, you have to kill the first boss before 5 minutes, and if you manage to perform this feat, you gain, in this case, 50 stories. And finally, the last one, you get some of the curse remover, but you take instantly 20 damage. So we want to give the player more chance to be better and try to get even more bonuses, because there are a lot of it. I don't know if we say bunny or not. I don't like to say bunny. But yeah, that's how Jocelyn works. And you can see also on the right side of the corner that you have a maximum number of contracts you can take. As you will finish the game, you will be able to unlock more and more contract selection, meaning that at the end you can pick up to 5 contracts. So be a bit careful with it, because if, for example, you take several times now take 10 damage, if you do that, for example, 5 times, you're gonna start with 5 HP. It's doable. Made my game completely doable, but yeah, you can't really take one hit, so be mindful about how you use it.
Yeah, and it adds a completely new dynamic to the game too, especially for new players who are coming in. You can start your first run, you have to go through the tutorial. So then basically after your first run, then you end up back in the CEO's office here, and you can talk to Jocelyn. So your second run onward, and so for everybody at home who's played this before, you should be able to just log in and start a new run, and this will be available for you. And you can just start a run with a new weapon, or whatever these roll. Because these could be anything. And you can see at the bottom, you can re-roll them. You have to spend the ingots on them, but I know a lot of people who have put a lot of time into the game have an overflowing amount of ingots, so you can spend those here. And also, you can just cancel it and not take one as well. And I think we can just not talk to her if we're not ready to go, if we want to talk to Joe or see what Pumpkin's up to. But I'll show how this works. Just select this, and you can see I got a random weapon there in the top left. And then the run begins. And there you go. There's a few little graphic issues again. Sorry, this is a development build. Thanks for understanding, but we're just excited to be able to show this off. And there you go, see?
Okay.
And oh yeah, go ahead.
No, there were 2 questions on the chat that I wanted to answer. Chunky Cat, yes, these options are randomized. You have a certain set of contracts that you offer, but what each gives you is completely randomized. So, for example, the first one can, for example, give you free anima, 1 free anima. So it's very nice. And that's enough. It's that for the case that you don't really want to get the maximum number of contract. For example, if you have finished the game 5 times and you can pick up to 5 contract, maybe you don't want for this run to do a lot of challenge, and you want just a very nice, easy run. So that's why we have the button that's enough.
Awesome, thanks for answering those. Next thing we want to show is the VIP lounge. So a lot of players have been asking for more consistent ways to heal and just more ways to heal in general. So this is a brand new room that you can get. Well, actually, I'll just let you explain it, Simon. Here, I just want to show it off. So yeah, what's this room about?
Yeah, so the lounge is a random room that can appear in your run. It's like a bit like the shop or like the control room, where you can get and you can see this magnificent espresso machine at the center of the room, where you can get a free heal. It's written on it, and it's completely free. You can use it only once, and it will be a very nice tool for players that tend to take a lot of damage. But the drawback of this is that you take a room and you just get to heal. You don't get to kill enemies, you don't get to gain solaries from arenas, and so it's really for struggling player, and most of the good player will try not to avoid them, but they know it's not very cost effective, but it's there for the people that need it.
Yeah. And I'm full health right here. I just activated it. It would have healed me if I had something. But yeah, like Simon mentioned, you're missing out on potentially fighting a mini-boss, a Thanager, and getting some upgrades or some solary, or hitting a shop and being able to get some stuff there. But yeah, if you're desperate for a heal, then you can just hit the VIP lounge, and there you go. Cool.
It's so cozy.
Yeah, it is. I know there's some cool posters in the background too, and there's a lot of fancy art. So when you at home get a chance to play this, you'll definitely want to spend a little bit of time there. And it is nice to have a bit of a break too, so you're not just always in the combat. So, if you need to do something IRL, or if you just want to find a little chill room for a moment and take a breather, then it's a great option for that. So next...
So you can also, I think, meet some NPC in this room. It's possible.
Ooh, I haven't seen that. That's exciting. Next thing we're gonna try to load up here is, okay, cool. This appears to be working. Sorry, folks, one moment. Totally not cheating right now. All right, and back to the gameplay. So this is the break room between worlds, and this is the first time I've been here on this account, so Patrick wants to say hi to us. And you'll notice a few things that might look a little bit different. Oh, Jerry wants to talk to us too. Here's the fridge, just like normal, but here is the new anima bubbler. And we mentioned this a little bit at the beginning of the stream, but can we do a quick recap on what the anima bubbler is, please?
Sure. So the anima bubbler is a fountain of animas. It's unlimited supply, and it's dirt cheap at the beginning, but as you buy one, the price increases. So it's very, very cost effective at the beginning, but at the end of your run, it's gonna cost you over 200 solari for one anima. So it should not be it should not be your only way to heal yourself. And you can maybe show the new greedy anima.
Yeah. And you see how it's just like skyrocketing in the cost requirement. And I gave myself a whole bunch of money, so yeah. But here, so you can see that we have 3 anima charges right now. So if we spend a little bit more and we get another anima charge, then what happens now, instead of it being wasted, is I will pick this up and it overwrites the first, or it like combines with the other anima. And so now we have one yellow anima and 2 of the blue anima. So you can have pure healing that way. But doing it through this method is pretty expensive. And you don't have to just use the anima bubbler too. If you have anima charges and you just find an anima out in the world somewhere, then the way the greedy anima works will still apply. And also here's something new. We've got a little vending machine. We did cover this one at the beginning of the stream too, but Simon, if you don't mind just giving us another recap of what's going on here.
Okay, so it's a snack machine that only accepts anima. You do not pay in it with solari, but it's very fortunate that you can buy anima right next to it. And so by there seems to be by using anima on it, you get a random reward. It can be several animas. It could be a golden anima. It could be money. It could be several things. But here we don't really see.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a minor visual bug. This is an older build, so yeah, sorry about that, folks. Thanks for understanding there. But it's cool that we can still show this off in this build at least. But yeah, I was able to roll once, and you have to spend anima to roll, and I got an anima back. And this one, I think, is just a bust. I don't have very good luck, so I generally don't get much out of this. Like in my runs, I haven't been using it much, but it's still cool to have this option, especially if you have tons of currency. You know, you have a lot of solari that you can spend on things. Here, let me just get a little bit more money here.
Yeah. The role also of this snack machine is that since you can use anima to get, for example, solaris, if you have too much healing and you are confident that you do not need more healing, you can use your anima to get money to buy more stuff in the shop and in the forge, for example.
Yeah. And I just got a pure anima, a yellow anima out of that one too, which is pretty sweet. So if you're lucky, you can get a lot. But there, I'm not very lucky, and so I just took damage. And you can see the anima bubbler is becoming increasingly more expensive. So let's just roll this one more time and see what we get.
Simon, there is a question on the chat from 230. Is there anything special that happens when you pick up an anima while having 3 golden animas?
Not for now, because with how we've made the game, you will use a lot more healing, but we've tried to balance that a bit by making yellow anima a bit less powerful, because before a yellow anima used to heal you a lot, like half your health bar, and since now you have a very reliable source of anima, and also you'll see you have other source to get anima, we've diminished their strength, so it's, for now at least, it's not possible to have anything more than 3 yellow anima. Maybe in the future we will have red anima, who knows.
Ooh, okay. A little bit of a future projection there. We'll have to see what happens in our future updates. And I just rolled 3 explosions in a row, so I think I shouldn't be doing this anymore. But something else that we can show off a little bit here is that there's some a good expanded tutorial section in the employee handbook. So I tried to move our cameras up to the top so we could show the most of all of these things. But you can see it details what a lot of the pickups are, especially the things that you can get that drop on the ground. So we know a lot of players were a little bit confused with what these effects did, and now you can just kind of read them, get some fun lore on it. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, this one of the most recurrent feedbacks of the community. They didn't understand what are these items, so that's why we wanted to add more explanation as well, more lore in the worker guide. So I hope it will help the players.
Yeah, and of course all of the new enemies that are added in this update also have handbook entries, so you can read about them. It's pretty sweet. Cool. So I think we have a few more Q&A questions that we want to answer, and then we're going to switch back over and show some of the new Thanagers. And then that should be the end of the stream. So back to the Q&A section. Well, first, actually, I hope you all like the changes that are coming with this update. It's pretty sweet. Lots more consistent healing, but the game is also becoming more challenging. Something that we haven't really mentioned too much is, well, of course, World 5 is expanded, so that's going to cause a lot more trouble in the end game. And some of the Thanagers, the mini bosses, have new attacks too. So if you feel like you've got a number on them, if you feel like you've got their number, then, you know, maybe be a little bit careful the first time you fight them in this new update. You're gonna have to figure some more stuff out. So back to the Q&A. How many permanent members are on your team? And also, for how long have you been developing this game? And this is from Jesper.
Okay, hello Jasper. So right now in our team we are around 20 people. We have a lot of people that are, how can I say, they are not directly into the production, but it's for the whole game, because the game is not just designer, it's just not programming. There's a lot of other people that are needed. For example, you have data manager and everything. So we're around 20 people. And for how long the game has been in development, we started the first version of the prototype that I was talking about. I think it was around the summer of 2020. It was right when some pandemic started hitting us. But yeah, I think we can say that the game is soon going to be 2 years into development.
I remember that we started the pre-production in March because it was the lockdown in France. So I remember that, okay, we have this new project, and okay, we're going to work in remotely. So well, but the first idea of the game was before the pandemic, because I know that some people ask us, did you make a game about death because of the pandemic? No, it was before COVID. Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
It's a sad coincidence.
Yeah, it happens, but the game does kind of deal with all of the aspects of death. So, you know, whatever's happening in life, all of our past experiences too, we see a little bit of that reflection in the game in a humorous and fun and engaging way. So next question, this one's from Beardo. How much coffee have you all drank since working on the game?
I'm sorry, but I drink tea.
Oh, yeah.
I know that I drink a lot of tea, if you want to know. I know that in our team we get 50-50 coffee drinkers. So I can say that Nico, for example, always take 3 to 5 coffee in the morning, never in the afternoon. And yeah, so yeah, I'm not a coffee team. Sorry.
Yeah, team tea gang. Me too. What about you, Simon?
Same.
Oh, excellent. All three of us, huh? Yeah, I've got my daily dose here.
We need to make an item about tea, right? Not just coffee.
That's the most overpowered one.
Yeah, I would love that. And here's a little bit more of a serious question from Beardo. How have you handled balancing between what the community suggests and what your plans are for the game?
Oh, this is a tricky subject. Well, the first thing is that it's very important that we listen to the community, because sometimes they can have an issue with something, but it's not really about this issue, it's about an underlying stuff, and they can't really pinpoint what it is. So for example, I know, like we discussed with the Anima Bubbler, some people had issue with our healing system, that it was too complex and they couldn't really understand it, but it was, at least that's what we feel, that it was because they didn't really have a lot of opportunity to use it and to abuse it. So it's very important to both listen to it, but try to understand what they are really mad or what they don't really understand. And then you try to figure a way to try to have your vision of the game, but also some things that the player can latch on. Like we said with the Anima Bubbler and the stack machine, there were things that we wanted to do, and that the community wanted, and we tried to find some way to make both of them work while not betraying the vision of the game. Because of course we could remove all of our healing system, we could make every enemy give you 10,000 Solari, make every weapon absolutely strong, and it would be very fun for 10 minutes. But
Yeah.
the bigger experience would be lessened. So yeah, that's how at least I approach it.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
that
and
answer. It's
just
certainly a balancing act. Yeah, sorry,
for
Meredith.
the information, I know that in the patch notes for tomorrow, there will be some notes that are coming from uh, some stuff that was inspired by the community, and there will be an icon to say that, okay, this is an ID from the community.
Mhm.
So thanks again, community, for your feedbacks.
Absolutely. And before we get to the next question, there's a lot of people asking about merch. Well, I think I have the only official merch right now. We printed 2 of these shirts total. Oh, my lighting's haunted. Sorry, it got hyped about the merch. But we were
I'm
at
jealous.
yeah. Well, we were at PAX East over the last weekend, and we did have some buttons that were printed out. So we do have some of those. So if you see us or you see Gearbox Publishing or Magic Design Studios at any events, then you can probably have a good chance at getting some merch. And we know that people want like a stuffed pumpkin or something. That stuff takes a lot more time, and we definitely hear you guys though. So we're gonna look into that for you. But follow us on our social channels at Join Death Inc. and see where we're going to be. Maybe we'll be in a city near you, and you can just hop by and get some merch from us. All right, next question. This is from Bloodshot about speedrunning. So how do you plan to work around or with speedrunners when the game fully releases?
Meredith, do you want to take this one?
Oh, it's for you because speedrun will impact the gameplay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
impacts all the areas of the game.
Okay, so I'm a bit biased because I like speedrunning. I really enjoy speedrunner because they really show how to exploit any tiny flaw in both either your design or some mistake or some bugs or some just system how they are implemented. So I will never try to hinder speedrunner if that doesn't break the game. So for example, if I see a speedrunner doing, I think it was someone, what weapon did he took? I think he took the bees, spells that increase your movement speed, and I thought, why should I be mad about that? There's absolutely no reason for me to be bad. Now on to how we want to work with them. We are making at least some discussion with the team to try to add more, not say speedrunning tool, but at least more tool to give more information for the speedrunner. For example, we've seen some speedrunner having their own overlay about timing where they can have stuff, and that's something that we want to be able to have in the game without them having to some add-on or stuff. I mean, most of them probably will, but we want to give the opportunity for player to record, to have, so for example, summary of the runs. So for example, saying you spent 5 minutes into World 1, you killed 23 enemies, and so on. So yeah, we want to work with them, and we will probably maybe sometime get in contact with them, because we've seen some people, for example, skipping one of first boss by using a combination of weapon. And I mean, it was very fun to watch this, but I thought, okay, I really wonder how much time did you spend to do that, to try to get this combination of weapon, because it's only possible with one weapon of the, I think it's the Drag-Elinor or Sword-Elinor, I don't know which one. And yeah, so it was very fun to watch, but you'll see. Wait for that.
Yeah. And some of the new contracts encourage speedrunning too. So, there's a little bit of element there already being implemented into the game just to kind of encourage you to play as fast as you can. But yeah, thank you. Next one, and we've only got a few more here, and then we're going to show off the Thanagers, which I know is what everybody wants to see. Will there be a physical or collector's edition of the game?
Yeah, would like to, of course, because I think it could be very great, and we have a lot of visual assets and sketches to show. So yeah, we'll work on it, maybe, and we'll let you know about that. But we did that for Unruly Heroes, our first game. So hopefully, I wish we could add a one for Have a Nice Death.
Yeah, and people were going hype when we showed the concept art earlier, so I think they definitely want more. So yeah, we hear you guys.
Yeah.
And next question is, how do you plan to increase the replayability of Have a Nice Death?
Okay, I think this question is for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we said, we wanted to give more agency for the player. So now you have the Jocelyn contract to try to have a very weird contracts that try to stack on top of each other. One of our level designers this morning played a run where he had 4 contracts, each giving him more HP. And so he instantly went for the curse that give you bonus damage onto your max HP. So I think this is a good way to try to offer it. But of course there are more stuff that we are doing. So for example, I know you haven't really showed it, but we've teased it a bit. But for example, new tanager. We want for the player to both be able to have some planning possible, but also be surprised. So for example, he must be aware that, yeah, I'm gonna maybe meet this tanager, this tanager, this tanager. I can beat them that way, I can beat them that way. This one, maybe I won't get it because I really don't like him. And that's how we're gonna do it, to try to give more tools and more content for the player to have different experience each run.
Cool. And again, we've mentioned this before, but we're still only like 6 or 7 weeks into the early access period of this game, and you're already seeing this massive update coming out tomorrow. So, there's potential for plenty more down the future. So just hop onto our Discord, follow our social channels, let us know what you guys think of this new update and what else you'd like to see. Next question, I think we only have 2 more questions. Next one is, will there be more departments for the game? If so, can you give us a tiny hint of what they might be?
So yeah, there will be more departments, of course, but we can't say exactly how many. And if you want what they may be, just think about causes of death, and I think you will probably find what this department will be. So I can say more about that. So,
Yeah, you can get a little bit of a teaser if you look at our roadmap, and we'll be releasing another roadmap after the update goes live tomorrow. So there'll be some more little teasers, but yeah, definitely we've got some super cool stuff planned. And the final question from this batch of Q&A is, will Death get the vacation he deserves?
Well, you just have to finish the game if you want to have this answer.
Yeah. So I believe we can say that World 5 is not the end, right? There will be something else that happens. I mean, everybody knows that Death doesn't actually get to have his vacation, even though he desperately wants it. But
yeah,
he, there's something else that's coming after that, certainly.
Yeah, I know that World 5 is kind of difficult to reach, but there will be more departments after World 5. So stay tuned and
Awesome.
stay motivated.
Yeah.
You will succeed, I'm sure.
Yeah, more good stuff coming in the weeks and months for Have a Nice Death. So, now the moment that everybody has been waiting for. I'm going to load up some of these bosses right quick. And we're going to check out all the new Thanagers. There are 4 of them, 4 new MIDI bosses, coming with the update tomorrow, releasing at approximately 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. This is the infrastructure development update. It's including all the stuff that we've showed today and talked about today, and more things that we haven't even mentioned too. You can get a little bit of information about those if you check out our social channels, and I've been teasing some things on Discord too. So make sure to follow at Join Death Inc. and our Discord especially. It's cool to be able to talk to people and hear what people think of the game. And if you're stuck on something, or you're looking for suggestions on a build, there's some very knowledgeable fans that you can have conversations with. So I am having a little bit of trouble. Okay, here it is. I believe this is it. Just a moment, folks. I want to make sure that we're loading into the right spot. Okay, this appears to be the right zone, so... Oh, and I'm getting blasted already. Okay. Don't want to pull the curtain back too far, but this will be the World 1 new Thanager His name is Leon, so I think I'm not going to attack, and I'm just going to try to jump and survive as long as I can. So Meredith, Simon, if you have anything to say about this within a few moments before I get blasted. Yeah, I don't have any upgrades or anything, so yeah. This is Leon. What do you have to say about Leon?
This is Mr. Clean, Leon Clean. He's a janitorial tanager. Leon is a custodial engineer responsible for keeping the Hall of Eternity spotless. So watch out for his deadly vacuum, which protects deadly trash. I don't know, Simon, if you want to say something about attacks.
Be careful about Leon because some tanager you can easily dodge behind them and you'll be safe. This one is both very good or bad at his job, and he tends to fall down after his attacks, so even if you dash through him, he can still damage you.
He's a super cool boss too. There's a lot of different things that try to hit you in different ways, like that. He has like a flash kick. And then this thing, it comes from the side, and he does like an overhead, and he's got a few other abilities too, like, okay, well, yeah, I died. But that's Leon, that's the World 1, new Thanager. So he doesn't have too much health. He's pretty early on in the game, so once you kind of get his pattern down, he's not too challenging. Let me switch back here, and we are going to go to the World 2 mini-bosses.
Yeah, about Leon, actually it's called Leon Clean because I think you know Mr. Clean in USA. It's a brand about to help me, Simon.
Yeah, he's like a cleaning product.
Yeah, cleaning.
He's the mascot
product,
for a
thank
cleaning
you,
product.
sir. Yeah, and Leon is about the movie called Leon because with Jean Reno from
The Professional.
It's about, you know, the professional, Leon the professional, who is a cleaner guy. That's why.
Totally not cheating. So we're getting the setup on the back end. Okay. Sorry for the delay, folks. I just want to make sure that we are seeing the right things. All right. There we go. I fixed it. All right. Back on track. This should do it. Okay. Back to gameplay. Here we go. So this is World 2. This is another Thanager. I love this intro. It's so funny. It's a blobby, and he's just so hungry. He has to get it. Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you want to explain a little bit about this boss, this is X4H.
X4H is an uncontrollable production management mutagen. He's a dangerous mutagen with uncontrollable saliva who has taken over the industrial pollution department. He's a little bit dumb because I think he eats too much product. Yeah. And the name was inspired by a name in the French comics book Spirou and Fantasio. It's a virus that makes people dumb, so that's why it's called X4.
Ah, very clever. So he has quite a few abilities as he's not really showing us here. And he gets kind of crazy and off the wall, I guess, on the wall. And many of the, oh yeah, go ahead, Simon.
No, I mean his most important ability is he can spit a projectile. Here you go.
Right here, yeah, all right, he did it.
Yeah, and it's a projectile that takes a long time to disappear. And so it's very, very hard to try to gauge the right time to jump both over him and both over the projectile. So be very careful when he does that.
Yeah, and we teased that spell on our socials yesterday, I believe. So you can actually get that too, the rolling ball, and you can put out a bunch of them. They bounce off of walls, and you can see that, well, before I died, that's what was happening there. It's pretty sweet. He's a fun fight too. A lot of the bosses, like if I'm not attacking them, they're not gonna really do much, but this next one, you'll see, is gonna cover the screen in some wild stuff. So let me load this guy up. Okay, I think we're here.
You cannot pogo him.
Here we go. So this is J Barron, yeah. What do you have to say about... I'm gonna die so fast on this without being able to attack. So what do we have to say about this guy?
He's the actuary teenager. He's a climate skepticist tycoon. In a former life, Richard was a crooked old tycoon who profited from fossil fuel. I don't want to say more about his name. I want the community to find why we call him Richard J. Barron.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we'll leave it up to all of you to figure that out. Okay. I'm barely surviving here. This fight can get really hectic because he overlaps some of his abilities like that. All right, I'm dead. Well, did you have anything to say about that, Simon? That one didn't take too long.
Yeah, so Baron is both easy and both hard to fight, because if you move a lot around in the fight, there's no safe zone. If you stay back, he will do attacks that are very dangerous. So if you want to fight him, you have to be aggressive and try to stay both very close to him, and as soon as he's gonna launch an attack, try to move out the way. But he's gonna try to trick you and both try to attack in front of him and behind. So once you know the pattern, it's probably one of the easiest fights, but you have to know the pattern.
Yes. There, my lights are haunted. They just turned off again. So finally, we're going to get to the mini boss that everybody knows and loves. If I can find her in here, I think this is it. I may have to actually cheat my way in there a little bit further, so because I don't want to hit an arena. I'm playing on a profile without any upgrades, so we have no health. You know, we have no damage. This isn't gonna last long. she does an incredible amount of damage. All right, I think this is a good spot to stop. All right, here we go. This is Camille. So yeah, Meredith, what do you have to say about Camille as I hopefully survive longer than 3 seconds?
Camille Flage, she's a living weapon. She may appear somewhat slow, but she's a fury unleashed and will ambush you with cat-like vertical attacks. And this Starved Siren also provides the Major and his troop with camouflage, giving them the advantage over their enemies. So beware. I hope that people who love camouflage will enjoy her.
Yeah, she's cool. She's not doing all of her abilities right now, and I think she has another one that she does when she gets below 50% or something around there. So we probably won't see that because I just have no damage. But yeah, Simon, can you tell us a little bit about this fight as I'm just jumping around? I'm trying not to die. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, so Camille is very aggressive, but she gets tired a lot. So what you should do is try to be defensive when she tries to jump around a lot. And when at some point she's gonna get tired, you're gonna see her playing a very tired animation, and that's when you should be very aggressive. Because as you can see, yeah, that's now what she's very defenseless, and normally you can do a lot of damage. But yeah, she is a very, what do you say, an harassing type of character.
Yes, she attacks very erratically. She goes all over the place. And yeah, we didn't even see all of her attacks there. I got blasted. Yeah. But I don't know if you saw, she has an insane amount of health and she does a crazy amount of damage. But this is the World 5 Thanager.
Yeah, she represents starvation, which is a cause of the war. And I don't know if you noticed, but when she's screaming, she throws bones from her mouth. Very dramatic.
I'm glad we got to see that. It's so cool. Well, I didn't fare too well against them. I mean, I have fought them many times before in real runs, and so I tried to survive as long as I could just with jumping and not even dashing. And you see, it's you got to get a little bit of a preview of some of the mechanics there, but yeah, all 4 of those mini bosses are gonna be super fun to watch all of you play for the first time and see about getting through. And you know, it's just more content, and there's so much other stuff that's coming with this update too. Like we have Jocelyn, which here I can show her off again. Her animations are just fantastic, and she's huge, and she like possesses this elevator. So I guess this is a good time for us to show it real quick as I can just run over here. Yeah.
So for now, Jocelyn don't have lots of dialogues, but she definitely will have some more.
Yeah. And so on top of the new Thanagers, we've also, of course, got the expanded World 5 that you can all experience tomorrow. So the game will be a little bit longer, even on top of the new stuff that we're adding. And there's 3 new enemies added. Some of the existing Thanagers in the build today, they have new abilities. We've also got 5 new spells that are going to be available. We teased a couple of those on our socials yesterday. We've got the water cooler, the anima bubbler that is in the break room. We've also got the vending machine that's more like a slot machine. There's the new VIP lounge. Oh, there's another skin for World 1 that we haven't even talked about yet, and I don't know if it's easy to show that off today, but you can see that tomorrow. That's also just kind of going down the patch notes. There's 150 lines of dialogue that are going to be added with this. There's a bunch of other quality of death improvements to the game, some bug fixes, and just all sorts of cool stuff coming with the infrastructure development update tomorrow. So definitely be looking out for that tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time, the brand new update, tons more content. You know, it's still really early on in the development cycle for this game, and so we have a lot more cool stuff coming for you guys. And definitely let us know what you think about it. Hit us up on Twitter and Facebook at Join Death Inc. Be sure to follow our YouTube channel as well, because we're going to have a new trailer for this update that's super cool, and we'll have more announcements and things there. And of course, on our Discord, we have the links for that all over the place. You know, come chat with us, the devs, and also with other recruits like yourself. Figure out what's good, what isn't, how to beat the new Thanagers and everything. So thanks everybody for joining us today on this stream. I'm so happy we were able to show all this stuff off, answer some of your questions, show some of the concept art for the game, and you know, big shout outs to Meredith and Simon. Everybody say thank you for them for having time to come on the stream today, answer questions, and you know, they're staying real late. Yeah, they're on French time, so you know, thanks for staying up, and they have you know, they got to get back to working on the game, but appreciate you all being here. Simon, is there anything you'd like to say before we cut? Simon, Meredith, do you want to say anything to the community, anything about the game?
Yeah,
Sure.
thank you, the community, for all your feedbacks, and we really hope that you will enjoy this first big update content. So thanks you again.
Awesome. And how about you, Simon?
It's a bit the same. Thank you everyone for the warm welcome you've given us. We are very happy that you like our work, and keep updated. We'll continue to work on the game to try to make it as good as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's very, very motivating.
Yeah. So again, thank you all so much, and for myself and everybody else at Magic Design Studios, everybody at Gearbox Publishing, we really appreciate you playing this game. We hope you have fun. The update, infrastructure development, goes live tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. Be sure to download, play. Super fun. You know, the game's only like $15 US dollars right now anyway, so it's super cheap for all this content. And yeah, thanks, and we'll see you next time. Adios. Wave till we're out. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.